guys, so it is Sunday, June 29th, and I wanted to shoot a little video and talk to you about how I stopped eating, consuming sugar. I practice this one day at a time. So just because I'm sugar-free today doesn't necessarily mean I'll be sugar-free tomorrow or the rest of my life. But this is what I'm doing now, and this feels the best for me right now. So, I wrote a few notes, and I'm going to refer to those notes, and yeah, this isn't science. You know, I'm not cured by any means, but this has been working for me, and I wanted to share it with you because I know a lot of people are struggling out there. So, there we go. So the number one thing I wrote down is that I'm never going to be done. For whatever reason, I struggle with food, and I believe I'm a compulsive overeater, food addict, binge eater, whatever we want to call it. I've got issues with food, and truthfully, it's not, the food isn't the issue. The food is what I use to medicate myself. Because I don't want to deal with the issue at hand or issues. So yeah, I think for me it has helped me to surrender to that and not get I just don't want to think to myself I will be there when I get a certain weight, or be there when I've been this many days without sugar. You know, I think it's always going to be a struggle, and I've just come to accept that, and I think with that acceptance it's helped me to get through it. Let's see. So with that said, my food plan is not perfect by any means. I eat things that I'm sure people are like, oh, that's really unhealthy. But for me, where I'm at now, this is exactly where I want to be and where I need to be and what's working. So I always want to tighten things up. I always want to do better and be better and challenge myself. But this is not a perfect diet. I do use artificial sweeteners. And you know, that's just what I'm choosing to do right now. I use artificial sweetener in my coffee. When I'm at home, excuse me, I use Truvia. And then when I'm out in the day, like if I go to Starbucks and get an iced coffee, I use Splenda. And then I also use sugar-free flavored syrups, which I've talked about in past videos, to flavor my yogurt, such as cherry flavor or pineapple flavor. Yeah. So, deprivation is a huge trigger for me. If I feel like I'm depriving myself of something, I can't stop thinking about it, and then I end up binging. So, for me, what was absolutely key was to not feel deprived. So that means early on, I would kind of make agreements with myself. So I'm not going to have sugar, but I'm going to allow myself to have potato chips if I want it, or tortilla chips, or something that did not have sugar in it, but it made me feel like I was still having something that tasted good or that I wanted at the time. And I did use foods like that, especially early on, to kind of get through those sugar cravings or that deprivation feeling. I definitely had moments of white knuckling it. So if I really wanted sugar so bad, I'm just like sitting with it like, ugh, I want it so bad. And I would usually try and distract myself. And of course, we all want the healthy distraction, like, oh, I just worked out and it all went away. Well, that's not necessarily true for me. I mean, I've had times where I've worked out and felt great. But in a true moment where I'm feeling desperation and like I just want to numb out with food, sometimes I would listen to music or go lay down and take a nap or drink iced coffee, something else that isn't as harmful as the sugar would have been for me in that moment. So I will allow myself sugar-free items that are not necessarily diet food or particularly healthy. So in times where I've really wanted some ice cream, I will buy sugar-free Klondike bars. Now these are not a low-calorie food, and I'm not pretending like they are part of my meal plan, but in a pinch they have worked to help me to help prevent me from having something with sugar in it. For me, sugar, once it's in my bloodstream, I have physical withdrawals if I try to quit it. So something that's helped me stay on this plan of no sugar is the reality of, do I want to allow it in my body again? Am I willing to deal with the consequences of the physical reaction, the mood swings, the cravings? And so far, that challenge has kept me from going back there. A little bit about my history. In October of 2013, I decided I wanted to be abstinent. And for those of you that don't know, I belong to Overeaters Anonymous and started going in June of 2013. And it took me until October till I was ready to kind of dip my toe into abstinent eating. And for those of you that don't know about the program, abstinence is whatever you choose. So for me, I knew it was vital to cut sugar out of my life. So in October, I did that. I got almost to 30 days, and then I fell off the wagon and went through the weekend and then got right back on Monday, and have been able to stay sugar-free ever since. Staying sugar-free means, for me, I don't consume anything that is directly sugar, like donuts or scones, cookies, ice cream, cake. But I will consume the sugar-free versions if I really feel, like I want to have that. So for instance, for Valentine's Day, I was given sugar-free chocolates. And, again, it goes back to that deprivation thing. Another thing that has gotten me through is little milestones. So in October, I got back on this wagon, and then Halloween was, I think, a week and a half later. But I was able to get through Halloween without having any candy. And then Thanksgiving came. And each little holiday milestone, I kind of went into it with the feeling of, okay, can I do this? Can I do this? And for Thanksgiving, my aunt, there's a restaurant that sells pie by the slice, and they had a couple of sugar-free pies, so she bought a couple of sugar-free slices. Actually, she bought two just so I could choose one. I ended up having the sugar-free Marion Berry, and it actually tasted really good. I didn't have any whipped cream on it because I knew there was whipped cream in there was sugar in the whipped cream. But I was able to have that, still feel a part of the group because I was able to have dessert. I didn't feel deprived. I think if I had chosen not to have any dessert, here's all these people eating dessert around me, and that would have been triggering for me. I remember now, I kind of lost my train of thought, but defining sugar, what's in sugar, or items that have sugar, I think the rule is if it's the fifth item down on the label, then it's okay because it kind of is mixed in with other things. So like a slice of bread, yes, if you look on the label, there's sugar in there, but you're having one slice of the loaf and it's pretty far down on the ingredient list. Same thing with peanut butter. I don't eat much peanut butter at a serving, and sugar is lower on the list compared to it takes how many peanuts to fill up the jar. So same thing with spaghetti sauce. A little bit of sugar in the spaghetti sauce doesn't trigger me or cause me to have cravings. For some people it might. You know, you'll have to just play with it and see what you think. I don't eat ketchup. I know they make low sugar ketchup, and I would probably purchase it if I was eating something that I needed or wanted ketchup with. So yeah, as far as the milestones, so I got through Thanksgiving, and then was vacation. Leading up to vacation, I went to Boston to see Amy, and I couldn't imagine going on a vacation without consuming sugar. That felt like deprivation to me, because I had in my head we would go to this little cafe and eat scones, and just, you know, vacation in my past was an excuse to pig out. But I got through it without consuming sugar. I consumed other things, like we had French fries and fish, deep fried fish, you know, and so I didn't eat low calorie necessarily, but my bottom line was sugar, and I did not have any sugar. Then came Christmas. I got through Christmas. Then came Valentine's Day, and got through that. You know, again, I got sugar-free chocolates, and that helped, you know, me to feel like I had a little bit of treat, and it was, you know, part of a gift I got, and yeah. And then came Easter this year, and Easter honestly was probably the hardest one for me. There are candies at Easter time that are not available the entire rest of the year, and I really wanted those candies. They haunted me every grocery store I went to, and it was a trigger that I was not expecting. Generally, like going into it, I kind of have, you know, an idea and prepare myself. I was not prepared for Easter. But lesson learned, I got through it just fine. Next trigger is going to be my birthday, because cake is a huge trigger for me. And I know they make sugar-free cakes out there. And, you know, I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but my birthday is not for a few weeks. So the whole point of all of this is one day at a time. So today I've been sugar-free, and hopefully will remain sugar-free, and tomorrow and the next day. But if I do decide to have sugar, I'm not going to beat myself up over it or shame myself. It is what it is. So I'm not future tripping on my birthday right now. Same thing with wedding cake. I have had many pity parties over wedding cake, and boo-hoo, I'm not gonna have cake on my birthday. That's just crazy. Why am I doing this sugar-free thing? I might as well give up. And then I remind myself, I'm not getting married anytime soon. I'm not even engaged. I'm not even dating anyone. So yeah, you can see where I'm going with this. All right, next one. Let's take a look here. So, I wrote down potato chips. I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm not encouraging you to go out and eat a bag of potato chips. For me, salty carbs were not my huge trigger, sugar was. So if I'm really craving something crunchy and, you know, or junk food, I will allow myself to have potato chips. If that's truly what I want in that moment, then I'll do that. Not the whole bag, not all day long every day, but if I really am wanting something, I will allow myself to have it. And again, my bottom line is the sugar. So if, and I've talked about this in past videos too, but I have green light foods, yellow light foods, red light foods. Red light foods are the ones that I don't partake in. And then the yellow light foods are the ones that it's like, okay, yeah, if I want something like that, I'll have it, but not every day. And probably not even once a week. And if I find myself going back to that food or craving that food, anticipating that food, really looking forward to that food, I check myself and say, you know, maybe I better cut that out. So, and I have done that. Let's see. Your taste will change over time. It won't happen in a week or two. It takes time. Things that tasted sour to me before taste very sweet now. My tastes have absolutely changed, and I think they continue to change. Things that I may have enjoyed in the past, now I taste them and I'm like, God, what was I thinking? The biggest change for me has been fruit. When I went to the treatment center in 2011 for eating disorders, I could barely get my fruit down. It was so sour to me. As part of our meal, we were given, we were allowed 2 or 3 condiments, I can't remember, but you could have a packet of sugar to put in your tea or coffee or whatever meal you were at. And I would use my sugar packet for my fruit because I just felt like I couldn't get it down otherwise. And some of the staff didn't like that and felt that that was an eating disorder behavior. And, you know, whatever. I know many people that still put sugar on their fruit or in their fruit salad, but whatever. So yeah, and I just kept at it, kept eating fruit because fruit is an important part of my diet, and I think most normal people's diets. As far as the type of fruit, which fruit has more sugar than the other, I don't focus on that at all. Fruit, the natural sugar in fruit does not trigger me or make me crave more or make me feel insane like normal sugar does. So I don't limit myself on that. If I want a piece of fruit, in my mind, it's certainly better than going out and binging on cake. As far as other tastes changing, yeah, I mean, as a whole, I eat very differently now than even a year ago, and especially 2 or 3 years ago. So have some faith that your taste will change. Even if fruit is too sour for you now, give it a while, a couple months or longer, and you will find that it has changed. All right. If there's a sugar-free option, I will take that. So for instance, I don't buy sugar-free cream, or I don't buy regular creamer, even though there's not a whole lot of sugar in that. There's a sugar-free version, so I'm going with the sugar-free version. Same thing with, I know they make dark chocolate that's like 70%, you know, and it's probably pretty low sugar, but if I really want chocolate, I will have a sugar-free chocolate. Now, sugar-free chocolate does not taste the same as regular chocolate, but I'm kind of glad it doesn't, because I don't want to be binging on sugar-free chocolate either. The reality is I could binge on anything. That's why I say I'm more of a food addict, overeater, whatever, but sugar is a huge trigger for me, so I try to abstain from that. Let's see. So, I made a note about sugar-free items such as the Klondike bars or sugar-free pie at Thanksgiving. You know, these are alternatives if I'm really wanting something and swing on that edge of, oh, I'm just going to eat the cake, I don't even care anymore type of self-talk, which I've had over and over, and I try to really hard fight that voice. Yeah. So I still have fantasies about sugar. I justify it in my mind. I have clear thoughts of why I feel like I've done enough. So now I can go ahead and have that sugar item. And thankfully, I have not gone there. It's been 259 days. I looked at my calendar when I was getting ready to make this video and decided I'd count it up. So, you know, if tomorrow I broke my abstinence, it does not negate the 259 days. You know, I think a lot of people have that fear of they can stay on plan and then they go off of it for a day or a week and then they just give up and say, well, it was all for nothing. It wasn't for nothing. I earned every one of those days, and if I have a bad day tomorrow, it absolutely does not cancel out those other days. You know, I had a thought recently. Our local fair is coming up. The fair is a huge trigger for me. I've binged in the past many times there. Yeah, done a lot of things that I'm ashamed of regarding food. And in my mind, I usually take my niece and nephews with me, and in my mind recently I was thinking about the fair and what I want to eat. There's corn on the cob there. Okay, that would be something I would eat, that I would consider on my plan. It's not something I eat daily. I don't remember the last time I've had corn on the cob, but in that situation, that would be a good choice for me. A Philly cheesesteak sandwich, you know, okay. Elephant ears, nope. They have this thing called a fry-joe, where it's very similar to an elephant ear, but it's about this big, and it's a thicker dough that's deep fried and covered in sugar and cinnamon. And it's really handy just to hold it like this and just eat it, you know. And last year, as we were leaving, we stopped at the fry-joe thing, and I got the kids one, and I got two. That I ate one on the way to the car, and one I put very carefully in the trunk, making sure nothing's gonna fall on it, because that was my later treat. And because I only get it once a year, and I can't just have just one or one bite. I've gotta buy multiples. So, you know, can I go this year without having a fry-joe? Yes, I can. And if it really is too hard, then I won't go, you know? But in my mind, in this fantasy, I was thinking about those Hawaiian shaved ices. And it's always really hot when you go to the fair. And I usually would get one or two, definitely one, but probably two Hawaiian ices during that time, because it really helps you kind of cool down. So in my mind, I was like, well, there's not that much sugar in that. I could do that. I'm sure I won't have withdrawals from that. I'm sure I won't have more than one. Just justifying it in my head. And then I came back to reality and I said, it's all sugar. Sugar and frozen water. Those are the ingredients. There's my clue. So I'm not going to be doing a Hawaiian ice. I can't remember if they have sugar-free flavors or not. If they do, that'd be awesome. I know they make sugar-free snow cone flavoring that they sell at Walmart, so I might just bring some of my own, or I could bring the sugar-free fruit-flavored syrups that I use in my yogurt. So you can see I'm thinking of other options. So it doesn't mean I'm saying Hawaiian ice is straight out. I'm just going to alter it to where it'll be within my meal plan and I won't have the physical withdrawals after of indulging in sugar. When I fell off the wagon in October of last year, I was with my family and we were having a really good time, better than what I had even expected. And there were caramel apples there. There really weren't a lot of non-sugar choices at this place. I wasn't really thinking ahead of time. Now that I've got some time under my belt, I probably would have had a backup plan or had a protein bar in my purse or something. So I decided I wanted to have caramel apple, and I did. And honestly, excuse me, I can say this now, even still, it was the best caramel apple I've ever had. Now, was it the apple? Was it that they had especially good caramel? Or was it that it was a beautiful day with my family and I was having a really great time, and that apple was part of that? Having those senses, you know, tasting something, the smells in the air, the laughing, the watching the kids, you know. So we were there a long time. It was at a pumpkin patch, and I found myself fantasizing about caramel apple again. Caramel apple, caramel apple. And so then I got another one, and these were pretty big apples. So kids are playing, and here I come over eating another apple. And that second caramel apple was not as good, and it tasted like a whole lot of shame, because I felt like, why can't I just be happy with one? So yeah, bittersweet. Let's see. As you can see, I made a lot of notes. I feel really free by not consuming sugar. I feel like I have control again. I feel empowered. Every day is building up that foundation of success and strength that I can get through it without consuming sugar. And I'm really proud of myself. And again, even if I decided to have sugar tomorrow and go on a week-long binge, it absolutely does not negate all the days that I've been sugar-free. And I'm really proud of that. All right, I'm back. I had to do a battery change. So, if you guys have listened this far, you know there's not some concrete rule book that I follow. I just do my best to be aware of it and challenge myself. Sometimes if I'm feeling stuck, I kind of ask, what's one thing I can change right now, just today, in this moment? What's something that I can do differently? So a few months ago, I had this really great experience where I got home and had dinner, and then I went for a walk after dinner, and I just felt alive, and it got me unstuck. Now, do I walk every night after dinner now? No. But that's not the point to me. The point is that I did something different, and I showed myself that there maybe could be other ways. And that's how I've gotten this far. I've tried things. Some things worked great, some things did not. Some things I tried, didn't like it, come back later, and now I do. I just try to live life with an open heart. I wrote something that I want to share with you because I feel like it sums things up in a great way. So I'm going to end the video with this. I live my life by one day at a time. If I have a moment where I really feel like cake is what I want or need in the moment, I will allow myself to do it. I will know that I've worked very hard to get this far, and that if I consume the sugar, I will have physical cravings for at least a few days. I will have this conversation in my head, not in a shaming way, but in a gentle way. If you really feel like this is what you need right now, you can do it. But if there's something emotional going on, I hope you will look at that first. And I haven't consumed the cake yet. So I hope you guys will look at your life one day at a time. And if you do have sugar, if you do have a slip, please don't beat yourself up over it. just try again and keep trying. I don't think there's any shame in facing recovery and staying on that path. So please let me know if you have any questions. You can send me a direct message on Facebook or here through YouTube. If you click on my page, there's an About link. And then if you click About, there's a button that says Message. And that'll send me a private message. Yeah, so ask away. I wish you luck. I wish you peace of mind and no more negative self-talk. It feels awesome not to hate ourselves so bad. So talk to you guys soon. Bye.